Welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews and welcome back to Northern Ontario. Today's video, well, it's going to be an update on this cell phone booster, signal booster that I got a little while ago, and a couple of videos back I couldn't get the thing to work, and I'm going to go over some couple of tips that maybe you could use to get them to work, because now it's working great. So I'm going to show you, I got my data on, and I'm going to show you the all the bars that you don't have. Like, I'm lucky if I can get one bar most times, and I'm going to take you in the cabin. I'm going to show you the setup I have, and I'm going to show you exactly how I got this thing to work. But first thing I want to do is I want to start off at the antenna mast that I have. And it's the type of thing where, well, you just can't go up on a ladder and move it in a certain direction, any direction you want. I actually have to take the mast down, adjust it, and then put it back up. But I found a way for me to actually find out where the best place was to place it. And what I did was I went online and I found out exactly where my cell towers were. So before, well, I've got 2 cell towers in my area. And the first time I had it set up roughly in the right direction, but it wasn't close enough. So I'm going to show you how I actually got it set up properly, and let's go take a look right now. Okay, so there's the back of the cabin there, and we'll go for a little bit of a walk, and I'll show you the signal strength outside here, out in the open, which should be the best signal strength. And let me just turn the camera around a bit here first. And I just want to show you something. This is what I come up to this week, with the flags all tore up like this. I tell you something, that's next week's video. I'm going to fix that. I've got like a bit of a hack that I'm going to try out, and we're going to see if I can fix that completely. But it's beautiful up here in the morning, and this is the prize way up here we're going to go for. So I got a TV antenna, and you can see the cell phone signal booster there. So the first thing I think I should do is I'll take you out on the deck and I'll show you how many bars I have on the cell phone. So let's go to the front here. And if you've never seen it before, that's my 400 watt solar panel set up there, and we'll just go along the front here, and I'll just put the cell phone down right here. Let's take a look at the cell phone here, if I can get the glare off, and we get real close there. Yeah, you can see I got the data on LTE, and I got 1 bar. And that's it. And inside the cabin, well, I can't make a phone call and I can't send a text message because it just will not go through the walls, I guess, or the roof. It's a block building. So let's go over to the tower setup here, and I'll just show you the base here first. So that's the cable that comes in for the TV antenna. I got 1 channel, and this is the one that comes down the mast and goes in there for the cell phone signal booster. And if we go all the way up to the top here, you could see it. Now before, I had it going in the opposite direction, so you can imagine I have to take this down all the time to move it. So I thought, how am I going to get that in the right direction? So actually, all I did was I found out exactly where the tower was, and I got my GPS. I put it down on the lawn like this, and I turned it till it was exactly pointing at the cell tower. Bingo! That was it. I mean, if you can actually get up there with a ladder and turn it a bit at a time till your signal gets better, fine. But a lot of times, well, you're stuck with a large mast like that, because I needed it up high enough to get over, you know, I got huge big ridges in here, so I wanted it to get up high enough. So let's go inside now and let's see the difference between getting 1 bar and what I have now. Okay, so I just put the cell phone over on the table there for a second, and we'll just bring it right in. And look at that, full bars. I can make a phone call in here now. I can do actually everything. Now it's like, I would say, pretty fast, and you know, that's a huge benefit for me. And I would say, if you can't get up on a ladder and move it, yeah, the GPS is the best option to exactly fine-tune it where your cell tower is. And I'll show you the exact setup and how I got it all hooked up. So we'll start off at the opposite end, and this is the internal transmitter here. So I just mounted that right there. You can see the cable going along, and it comes down, and you see there's a red light on there. Well, that turns green apparently when you have the strongest signal. And well, I don't know how much better of a signal you could possibly get with this thing, but yeah, that is just awesome. So it comes down, and I put it in some wire loom. Then as we go along the bottom here, you can see I just put along here, and I used some clips to go all the way along the door frame over here, and went along the back, and I went up, and I just looped it in here, then brought it back down here. Now you could see over there in the corner that I used that yellow extension cord, so that's the separator right there. Because I used that yellow extension cord all the way along. I tucked it into the back there, and put a little bit of a clip, because you know, you have to pretty much hold them wires upright. You don't want to just leave it like that. And that's the setup there, and it just works terrific. And I mean, it was easy just to put it in the wire loom and then put all them clips all the way around. Well, I went from having 1 bar to full 5 bars, and the cell reception is just awesome. I mean, when you take a look at all the different reviews, and I've looked at a whole bunch of different reviews, and a lot of people just can't get their signal booster to actually work. And I think the whole idea behind it is you have to actually get it right pointed right at your cell tower. And if you're wondering, my cell tower is roughly, I had one about 12 miles away and one about 10 miles away. So the one that's 10 miles away, it's pointed right at it, and it's working great now. And I'd just like to mention a couple of things about this this particular unit. I measured how much power it uses because I am off-grid here, so I'm using strictly batteries and a power inverter. And that particular unit, I tested it with my ammeter, and it burns at about 70 to 80 milliamps. So you take a look at 1 amp is 1,000 milliamps. This is about 1/10 of 1 amp that this burns in amperage for every hour. And you know, that is just, I'm saying anybody who's off grid could use these and just leave it on 24/7. That's what I do. And you know, for the little bit of amperage that it uses, I mean, we're talking about, you're lucky if you could use 2 amps a day. So that's not very much when you're on an off-grid system and you have solar power. And you know, I think that it's a no-brainer. And I think a lot of people just can't get these things to work because they don't have maybe a GPS to actually fine-tune it, you know, exactly where it's supposed to go. Because if you're off just a little bit, yeah, it's not going to bring in the reception. And for me to go from 1 bar to 5 is just incredible. Like I said before, I could never send a text in here. Most of the time, I couldn't even receive a text. I couldn't receive a telephone call, that's for sure. And many times, well, it would say no service. But now, well, it's just like downtown, right? So thanks for joining me here today. And next week, I'm going to work on them flags because I got the you know, the brain working at 100 miles an hour here trying to figure that idea out because, you know, I do get a storm every once in a while up here, and that's what happens, is the flags just get torn to pieces. So stay tuned for that next week. But thanks for joining me here today, and thanks for joining me up here in Northern Ontario. And if you're thinking about getting one of these signal boosters, I can only talk about the one that I got here. And for me, I think it's just great. Now, how long it actually works and that kind of stuff, well, stay tuned, because next year I'm going to tell you whether this thing actually still works or it doesn't work, or if I had any problems with it or anything. But so far, it's top notch. So thanks for joining me here today. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe. Come back again, and let's have some more fun in Northern Ontario.